Hello and welcome back to Talk of the Townsends. I'm Benedict Townsend.
And I'm Hannah Townsend.
And this is very exciting because this is a completely filmed podcast episode that we're putting on Spotify and I guess maybe YouTube. We'll find out.
Wherever you're listening, hello and hi.
I feel like we haven't sat down and done a regular episode for a minute. I feel like we have quite a lot to discuss.
I know. And today, is our 2-year anniversary of the first Talk of the Townsends podcast that was ever published.
No, today.
Today. We filmed it on the 18th.
Right.
And it went yesterday and it went out on the 19th.
Wow. We filmed it on the 18th of January. It went on the 19th. That's so exciting.
And Amy replied, we put a story up yesterday and Amy replied and she was like, the first location of 800 or something like that, which made us laugh out loud. The OG people, the people who are with us in the trenches will remember that boy did we move about studios. Every location was different for a long time. But now we are settled in our forever home, forever podcast studio.
We learned a lot about the process of podcasting, namely that it's just really annoying to find a place to do a podcast and expensive.
Yeah, but I listened to the first ever episode we did back last night and it was so funny to see how much our life has changed within 2 years of we talked about going to a party and we didn't know anyone. And we're now like way better friends with those people. It was a lot has changed in our lives.
It's also funny. It's a classic example of like, just go for it. Where when we first made that podcast, truly no one was listening, an audience of zero.
Yeah.
But we were like, it would be fun to do a podcast. And then like 90% of it is just, do you keep making episodes? And if you do, eventually an audience will find you. And our lives have changed because of this podcast. So anyway, just really nice times.
When I was re-listening to episode 1, Guess Who Died? We did a lot more like general chit chat at the beginning rather than getting straight into film and TV. Although we did talk about TV. We talked about The Crown in episode 1 and Diana.
Wow.
That was what we were watching 2 years ago to the day.
I look quite pretty.
No, we kept saying that in episode 1 as well.
That's not Diana.
Oh no, sorry. It's not. Wait. All right. That's what we kept saying.
Right. I just quite like the idea of someone doing a Diana impression and it's, I look quite pretty. It's spiritually Diana, that.
Yeah.
We knew her well and it's spiritually like her. It is funny that even at that point, Talk of the Townsends wasn't a film and TV podcast. It wasn't anything. It was just us yapping and we still spoke about film and TV.
At length, we talked about The Crown in episode 1.
That's a show that fell off.
Well, it caught up to modern day, didn't it? So then it got a bit icky.
Yeah, and also like it became a lot more apparent when they were just making stuff up a lot.
Yeah. Well, it's weird it's weird anyway to imagine conversations between people, even if it's people in history and you don't really have much to go on. Like that is strange, because you're writing someone when you don't know them, you don't know what they were like, but it's weirder to write conversations of two people who are alive and families and people that like we can see in the media.
Yeah, because you famously want to cancel Shakespeare because he wrote that play Julius Caesar and put all those words in his mouth that he never said. But it's true, like when it's a historical figure, at least you have the argument of like, well, we can't ask that person what they said. But when you're saying something in 2007, it's like, well, why don't you just go ask them what they said?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure what they said was, I wasn't visited by Diana's ghost who said, I forgive you. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't say that.
That's what we were talking about back in the episode 1. But in episode 1, we also did more of like a general chit chat, what's new. So what's new in our lives?
Obviously we had a bereavement recently, which is not funny, but it's such a surreal, bizarre thing that there ends up being these moments of like levity or just weirdness. And one of them was that all the brands we were working with at the time to do #branded content, they found out through our agent and they were very kind and they would reach out, sometimes send flowers. And so we would have these messages that would be like, the London Symphony Orchestra sends its condolences.
And Pets at Home sends their condolences, which obviously none of it was funny, but it was very funny relaying the message to my mother-in-law, your mum, being like, the London Symphony Orchestra sends its condolences. And it's something we've continued to say. Pets at Home send their condolences.
Which, again, lovely of them to do that. Very kind of them to do that. It's just one of those kind of, I guess, pinch me moments where you're like, my life is so weird that this is happening. It was a sweet moment where I could put my hand on my mum's shoulder and just be like, by the way, Pets at Home send their condolences. And she really laughed.
It lifted our spirits.
My family has a real kind of gallows humor. Like my family, it's a very British thing, I think, to be able to sort of laugh in a time of sadness or crisis, not in a mocking way or a non-feeling way, but just in that way of like getting through it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was sad. It still is sad. And there are
Devastating.
times of such deep sadness. But I also think we are very lucky to be surrounded by people who, if there is a chance to laugh and things to be a little bit lighter for a second,
Yes.
we will take that. And those things really made us laugh.
I mean, the day after everything happened, we went for a meal, all the family, the immediate family, and we went to this local Thai restaurant. This was like beginning of October, and it was so early in October, and we went in and there was just so many Halloween decorations in this Thai restaurant, just like skulls everywhere.
Yeah.
And I just turned to my mum and I was like, it's just so nice to not think about death for an hour. And again, we laughed because also it's like, you know, it was so early in the month. No one else had any decorations up. I don't know why this one random Thai restaurant was all in on Halloween that early.
It had beautiful like Thai decor as well. You know, there was lots of colour, there was lanterns. It was really beautiful. But then it all was also full of skulls.
Just so many skulls.
And full of skeletons. And it was very funny.
But yeah, by the time this comes out, the video might be out, but I'm going to be working alongside, not like paid work, but working alongside Pancreatic Cancer UK, which is the UK's pancreatic cancer charity. And, you know, hopefully that can be a little bit of a light in the darkness of this very sad thing that maybe, you know, they've just actually had one of the biggest breakthroughs in pancreatic cancer ever recently. So it's nice to see that like the funding for that stuff goes somewhere. You know, pancreatic cancer is, I think, the deadliest common cancer, but it's also one of the least understood, known about, one of the least funded. It receives very little funding. It's like, you know, I'm not blaming anyone. I was the same, you know, before the diagnosis. I didn't know much about pancreatic cancer. I mean, I think gun to my head, do I know what a pancreas is? Still probably no.
No.
It's not one of the big, you know, it's not one of the big organs, like skin. Apparently.
Name the biggest organ.
What are the big three organs? Heart? No, heart's a muscle, love.
Oh.
Sorry, baby. Isn't skin an organ? Isn't that like a thing people say to be smug?
Lung. I would say lung is the biggest organ.
I would say love is the biggest organ. That's such a thing. Like, actually, your skin is the biggest organ.
Well, you did it. So
I know.
You can't...
That's like a thing people say.
Well, you did do that, love.
It's like that thing about how boiling water freezes faster than regular water. It's like, okay, even if you tell me that's true, that's an annoying fact, and I don't like it.
The call's coming from inside the house a little bit with this one.
Yeah, it's just been a really weird time. It's been a very surreal time. Time itself has felt very weird, not really knowing what day of the week it is. I think has it been about a month since it happened? But it also feels like it's been like 10 years since it happened.
I turned to Benedict today and I said, is it Black Friday? And Benedict said it's Wednesday. And it's also like not near Black Friday. I just know that people keep talking about Black Friday.
The craziest thing is also you said that to me yesterday, Tuesday.
Did I?
You've got it wrong again today. You turned to me yesterday on Tuesday and went, is tomorrow Black Friday? And I really had to process that for a while because I was like, well, no, first of all, it's regular Wednesday tomorrow.
But tomorrow, the 20th of November,
yes,
will be World Pancreatic Cancer Day.
Yes, which is the day we booked the funeral. And we literally just booked the funeral for my dad. My dad died. I don't know if we've ever made that clear. But
we were trying to gatekeep.
Yeah, gatekeep Gaspos. But we booked the funeral for the 20th of November just because that was like a convenient day to do it for all of us. And then we found out that not only is November Pancreatic Cancer Month, but the 20th specifically is World Pancreatic Cancer Day, which is just such a funny little bit of cosmic magic or something.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Really weird.
And beautiful in a way.
But apart from obviously the worst time of our life ever, it snowed today. Things are chugging along. We have been watching the best program. Honestly, one of the highlights of TV for me this year.
I don't think I've ever seen you as excited about any TV show. And the crazy thing about this is they already made a season of this that you thought was okay.
Yeah, you're so right. We are talking, of course, about... Well, I don't know why I'm saying of course. You wouldn't have any idea. Squid Game The Challenge.
Yes.
On Netflix.
The game show version of Squid Game. You know what I was thinking? When that first came out, everyone had all these hot takes of like, it's so dystopian that they actually just made Squid Game. Oh my God. And then when I was watching it last night, I'm like, it's just a game show. Like,
yeah.
I think we all got a little bit too excited about like, what does it mean? I think especially because, and we can discuss this, I feel like Squid Game kind of dropped the ball a little bit on those themes in the second and third season where it did just become more about the games.
Yeah.
But watching it last night, I was like, no, this is just kind of an even slightly wholesome game show. I mean, people get very invested in it, but people aren't dying, Kim.
Season 1 was good, but I think it chugged along a little too slowly. And I also think we were introduced to the winner way too late.
Yes.
Like, we didn't get to know the winner, so I wasn't necessarily rooting for her.
But we also don't know who the winner is yet, so we could not.
No, that's true. But I
Yeah.
do feel like I'm getting to know characters a little bit more. I feel like they didn't know who to concentrate on last time. And I couldn't, apart from the winner, who I do remember just because she won such an astounding amount of money.
It's so much money.
I can't really tell you anything about anyone who was on that game show. Whereas this season, they've definitely like created characters. Like the twins was a like fun point of the game. You had the bald guy who was a cop, who was
the most cop there's ever been.
the coppest of cops.
I'm copping here. They've done an incredibly good job of casting. I think casting is a really underrated thing in reality and in movies and whatever. It's such a skill, and they've done the dream thing here, which is that they found genuine characters, but who aren't also clearly people who are just trying to get famous off TV.
I would agree with that. I think you have people who are motivated by money.
Yes.
Which is lovely to see in a
Yeah.
very odd way.
Yeah.
Rather than I am going on to this to change my life and have a social media career. People want to win. I mean, $6 million or
Might
something?
be 4.56. It's like a very specific amount.
That is a crazy, life-changing amount of money. And what you hear is the people consistently talking about said money. And that's why they want to stay in the game.
I mean, really, what? 50 grand is like a life-changing amount of money. 4 million is like, that's like not only is your life changed, but like concentric circles around you are changed. Like people down your street are going to have their life changed. But that is like, you are a private economy when you have $4 million or pounds. But yeah, I mean, aside from the twins who were, I think, professional content creators, everyone on that has like a quote unquote regular job. Even the twins, like, okay, yes, they were good at getting screen time, but it still felt like they were there for the money, which I suppose that's the virtue of having such a ridiculous prize pot, is that people do want to play the actual game.
I think it's a combination of that and that if you want to be a reality TV star, I don't think Squid Game The Challenge is where you want to start, right? Because so many people, there's hundreds of people at the beginning, the likelihood of you getting to the end and becoming and having a social media career off the back of that, very unlikely.
Yeah.
You are better going on a show where you're one of 12 and, episodes are an hour long and you're going to get a percentage of that screen time. This is just not the show to go on. And if you go on a reality TV show, you tend to not get on another one, right?
Yeah.
So if you want a social media career, I wouldn't hedge my bets and go on this one as my one.
Yes, absolutely.
Speaking as someone who was maybe contacted about going on this.
Which you should have done. It would have been nice to have $4 million.
If I'd have realised how big the prize pot was, maybe I would have gone further in this.
But also, like, there are people, we're pretty far along now. I think we're down to the last, 20 people. There's people in that 20
We still don't know.
that we still haven't really been introduced to. There were people eliminated in the last game, which was an amazing game, and they quote-unquote died. And I'm like, I never saw that person. And they made it so far. And that's nothing wrong with the show. It's just, like, the logistics. Like, there's two ways I watch this show. One, as just a viewer enjoying it, and two, with a sort of production head on going, how the hell do they make this? The sheer amount of footage.
Mental.
You are filming hundreds of people. You're filming VTs, which is when people talk to the camera. You're filming the games from 90 angles. It must just be reams and reams of footage.
Yeah.
And they build stories. What I like as well is that they have, aside from doing really good casting, they've built really good little mini plot lines into this. But they've done that with a lot of there's quite a few family relationships.
Yeah.
Obviously there's twins, there's those built-in connections which inherently build drama. But there's situations that arise where I'm like, okay, have they massaged this a little bit? There's two teams, both of them led by a twin, right? Did that happen organically or did the show push it, whatever? But what's nice is, because of the way the show works, that anyone can die at any time, it can never actually feel fixed.
Agreed.
Because no matter how much the producers or whatever may massage a situation, and they might not at all, right? They can never fix whether a person is going to survive a game or not.
Well, exactly. They can't make you catch a ball.
Yeah.
They can't make you... If you miss a ball... and they focused on you as one of the key people they want to get through, there's nothing they can do there. Look, okay, the boys, the twins who are in this, they are content creators. So the chances are that I think it was a smart thing to put themselves forward to be two team leaders up front, get the screen time. if I was a content creator going in there, I would have probably done the same thing.
Of course.
So they are people who are, they want the limelight, and that showed, but they couldn't help whether they lived or died.
There's a moment where, I'm going to say this as vaguely as possible, there's a guy that you just absolutely want to survive the game.
Yes.
The show wants him to survive the game. Everyone in the show wants him to survive, and he doesn't. And it's a brutal moment. And if you were scripting it, you never would script it that way in like a drama, because it's a really bad feeling watching this nice person die. But unfortunately, that's the thrill of Squid Game, is that it's completely unpredictable.
This might be my favorite moment of reality television that I've seen this year. The poor lady whose job it was to create the House of Cards, whose hands were somewhat shaky, you could say.
Yes, a little sweaty as well, perhaps.
When we saw the cards, we were like, what the heck has happened to those cards?
It looked like she had chewed, swallowed, and then thrown up the cards. They were like bent so weirdly.
Look, I'm not saying I'll be any better in this scenario, but the cards were destroyed, and then she tried to put them in her mouth.
That I don't get at all. Why she was using her mouth?
Well, because she was too shaky, so she thought, let's go for option D, I guess.
There was a really funny moment where she's shaking so much, and she goes, "Guys, I do shake sometimes. Actually, I should have mentioned that. Why did you volunteer? You have to volunteer for each of these challenges. Why would you volunteer for House of Cards if you know you are really shaky?"
She should have done the little kicky uppy one.
Yeah.
The hardest is the die.
I think the hardest is the House of Cards.
Do you think?
Hardest is House of Cards. The second hardest is the one where you have to catch the little coloured things.
Depending on how good your throw is, I guess the knocking over of the rock could be kind of tough.
Especially because if you miss, you then have to go and get it, and that's really time consuming.
Agreed. And then you've got the cuppy one.
Cuppy one's fine.
And the kicky uppies, easy.
Kicky uppy is, I think everyone did it first time. It's because if it was a ball, it would be harder, but because it's that little pom-pom, kind of easy. Can I give you my hot take about Squid Game, the challenge? I think it is my favourite Squid Game thing this latest season since Squid Game season 1, but also maybe ever.
I take my hat off to every producer on this show because we've watched a lot of TV, we've watched a lot of game shows, and we can almost think one step ahead.
Yeah.
Squid Game, the challenge, they have thought in depth about every scenario and what is the way to make this the most exciting. Something happens and you're like, oh, okay, well, that means this.
Yeah.
And it's not. And it's incredible.
It's literally all killer, no filler. Like, there actually isn't filler. Even the bits where they're not playing the games, they make them really interesting. Because I'll be honest, there were times in seasons 2 and 3 of Squid Game where I was like, just get back to the games, because the actual story part wasn't that compelling to me. Watching those guys on a boat searching for ages. And this, where it's just the good stuff, it's just the games, I'm like, yeah, I'm into this. And the new games are really good.
I agree. I think even on series 1 of the challenge, they spent a lot more time of filler of us watching them in that little workroom thing, which it's not always the most interesting. I think they've really nailed this.
And they've also learned the big lesson from the actual Squid Game show, which is watching people vote to continue the game is boring, and you shouldn't devote entire episodes to it.
The thing I am enjoying most about Squid Game, the challenge, is the psychology behind people's decisions and trying to work out why we think the way we do. We saw it with the Russian dolls, right? The first one was bad.
Yes.
So the second one, people assumed might be good, but it was nothing.
Yes.
Then the third one was a treat.
Yes.
And so then everyone was like, the next one has to be an elimination.
Yeah.
And our brains, that is the way we think. That's the way I thought. That's the way that group of people all thought.
Yeah.
And the show is so smart, and the producers are so smart, because that's not what they did. They did a flip on what you think. They are thinking 8 levels ahead, and that is what is making this show so enjoyable for me to watch.
Because human psychology is so funny and is actually quite predictable. Like, humans are obsessed with patterns, and humans are not good with randomness. Like, there's the famous thing, I've mentioned it so many times in this podcast, where when they launched Shuffle on the iPod, it kept playing music from the same artist, one after the other. Because that's what truly random means. In a truly random system, you could end up listening to an album in order, 1 to 10, because that's still random. So what they had to do is, people were complaining, they went in and made Shuffle less random in order to make it feel more random to humans. And it's like that with this. We're like, well, there's been a bad one, there must be a good one. Why? Because that's what the human brain does. It's like, there must be a pattern here. No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
But it's interesting watching a group of collective people all think the way that I think. I assumed it would be bad, and I was trying to work out why I assumed it would be bad. and then being shocked at the pattern that I'd assumed in my head wasn't correct.
Another little thing I love is just seeing the random friends and groups that form. It's actually quite heartening because like a person will come, it'll be a huge bloke and he'll come back from a challenge and he'll be like, Doris, and he'll run and hug a granny. And that granny is his best friend. And it like, I don't know, it just shows that like human beings are such social creatures and you should never make assumptions about who's going to bond and why.
Yeah.
And everyone's got a little pal in there, a little group, and it's actually quite sweet.
Yeah.
It's a lot sweeter than regular Squid Game.
In the catching challenge, the guy who picked the woman to be his person,
Yes.
who he bet on would get him through to the next round, he's my MVP.
Yeah, and she did.
And she did.
Anyway, as you can tell, we quite like that show.
Well, we're not affiliated with it. I just think
No.
it is brilliant. Benedict and I had a bit of a discussion earlier about Netflix and about what they put out and what they are very good at. And what they are good at is they're great at a documentary and they are very strong at a game show. And I think the thought and care that has been put into Squid Game The Challenge really shows. I think it's really, really good.
Yeah, I think Netflix, by their own admission, has very much gone for a kind of content approach. They want a thing that's kind of maybe on in the background. And that is served very well by reality shows. It's served less well by movies, for example. The Woman in Cabin 10, one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
Terrible.
I cannot believe how bad that movie is. But, you know, that's just the nature of the platform. That's what they're up to.
Yeah.
And maybe they should just do more stuff like this.
Well, there we have it.
I've been Benedict Townsend.
And I have been Hannah Townsend.
If you watched this on video, please let us know if it worked and if it was any good and if you liked it. And hopefully we'll be doing more of that.
Speak to you soon. I don't know why I said that.
Speak to you soon.
As if I'm signing off a phone call.
Bye. I'll let you go.
Bye. No, you hang up first.